Hello everyone, so I'm making this video for you to know how to install Odoo. Now in the previous lecture I talked about Odoo. What is an Odoo? Odoo is a software, open source software that can be used for ERP management. In this video I'll be teaching you step by step how you can install it and you can get it running. So without further ado, I will open the browser first and show you Odoo. Now, upon searching Odoo, the very first website I'm greeted with is the website where they offer the Odoo. So if I open it, here as you can see, this is a dashboard I would call where all of the modules are there for accounting, for CRM, for e-commerce, like all of the things are there. However, if you sign in for it, it gives you a free trial for I think about 2 weeks, and it does not require any credit card information, but we won't be focusing on this thing first. We'll be using the community version, and the one I'm just going to show you, you can also make your own modules there as well. However, that is a discussion for later. For now, we need to get this thing running. So instead of opening the first website, if you scroll down, you will see this website from GitHub. Now, upon opening it, it is actually a repository for open source Odoo software where people can contribute, and you can also play with the modules. And let's say if you want a module for your own self, you can also create it. But we won't be focusing on this. Right now, we need to get it running. If you scroll all the way down, you have a little description about Odoo. So the main Odoo apps include an open source CRM, website builder, e-commerce, warehouse management, all those stuff. These are separate modules. But Odoo apps, if you look at the second paragraph, Odoo apps can be used as a standalone application, but they also integrate seamlessly so you can get fully featured open source ERP when you install several apps. What it is trying to say is if you combine them like website builder, e-commerce, warehouse management, if you integrate them together, you have a fully open source ERP system running for you. So how should we do it? So upon scrolling down, you can see this section for getting started with Odoo. For standard installation, please follow this set of instructions. So you can open this link. Now it has brought us to this on-premise page, which might not be too useful right now. What I want you to do is come on this tab of source install. So upon opening it, here you have the setup for Odoo, like the instructions for Odoo where you can install it. So it can be a bit complicated for you, especially if you're coming from a business background or you don't have a lot of technical knowledge about CS, then it might be challenging for you. So that's why I'm here to help. And the way I am going to do that thing is I'm running everything fresh. Like the system I'm using right now, it does not have a lot of things going on. Of course, it has Python installed for my work, but I'll be explaining you along the way how if something is not working, how you can remedy it. So first thing first, I want you to take a good note of this cyan color tabs, should I call it, or like a highlight tab. So all these notes are essential. For running all these commands, you have to know the note first, because sometimes like these notes talk about the software used for running all these commands. You can't just run those commands right away. So it might look too much right now, but I'll be doing things one by one. And I'm trying to do this thing in one take where most probably I don't have to record multiple times. I will just record this thing in one recording. So in that way, like it's going to be more convenient for you to also follow. So first thing first, I'm assuming a lot of you people are going to use Windows. If you're using a Mac OS there or Linux, we can discuss that thing later. But for now, we'll be focusing on the Windows first. So upon clicking on the Windows tab, stick with the HTTPS. And okay, let me show you how you are going to do this thing now. So from this moment onwards, we'll be installing or we'll be try to run Odoo on our machine. So first thing first, all these commands are a terminal-based command. Now, what do I mean by that? That means that I don't have to install. Okay, maybe I might use an installer for installing the stuff to run all this command, but all these are standalone. I need to run it in a command prompt. What is a command prompt? Command prompt is your window, or I would say like terminal where you just put the commands and you run the stuff. So it's going to be like this. There is not going to be installers for it. I'll be teaching you one by one. So first thing first, if you're doing all this thing for the first time, it might look challenging. Okay, one more thing. How did I open the terminal? You can either type CMD in your command prompt, sorry, in your tab, so it will open the command prompt. Or you can also install the terminal. It's entirely up to you. What do you want? So here I'm using the terminal for executing all these commands. So first thing first, I don't want you to follow the enterprise version because enterprise is paid and it comes with its own I think like it's more complicated. So for now, like we'll be keeping things simple and we'll be sticking to the community version where we can also we can use our own stuff and run the thing. So we'll be sticking with the community version. So let me copy it and command and paste the command over there. Now, if you're greeted with something like this, like an error message, that means like we are on the same page. Mind you, I'm running it on PowerShell, so maybe if you're using CMD, it might show you like this. So this is CMD. Git is not recognized as an internal or external command. That means, for example, you have your own commands built in. Let's say like dir. It's a command, built-in command that can show you the directories of the folder you're in. This is not a DOS lesson, but I'm just telling you, if you type git and you are greeted with something like this, or if you paste the command and you're greeted with something like this, that means you're missing something. Now, what you're missing, just like I told you about the notes, it is required to have git installed and it is recommended to have basic knowledge of git commands to proceed. Now, of course, you may not have the git command knowledge extensively, but if you follow me, I'll be showing you how you can use the commands. So upon clicking on this tab, it will lead you to this page. Here you can simply install the Git. So upon installing, I'm going with the Windows x64 setup. Let it install for a while. All right. So you'll be greeted with a setup like that. I want you to just go with the default settings, whatever it's giving you, it works all the time. So just stick with the default settings and you don't need to do anything. Just click next and install it, whatever it is recommended to you. Okay, now just finish it. Now if I type the git again, of course it's going to give me the error, but if you close the terminal and open it again, by the way, when I type the Alt plus space bar key, it's actually showing me this Mac-like spotlight. I'm using Power Tools for that. So anyways, let me just open terminal normally. You might be confused that how am I doing things. So let me keep this video as simple as possible. Okay, so I have opened the terminal again. Now if I type git, you see this time I'm greeted with like all these messages. That means that the git command is working now. So I will come back to the page again and let me clean the screen. So you can see the directory is my user directory. I want it to be on desktop. I want it to display here on the desktop. So what I can do, there's a command called cd, that means change directory, and I will type desktop. Of course, this is not like a visual thing where you can see a lot of things happening, but right now if I type dir, all these things are on my desktop. Now this thing is actually, you cannot see all the icons because I have made them hidden, or it's actually on my second monitor, but that means I'm in my desktop directory. I will show you later how. So why I'm doing this thing, because I want the folder to be here. You can place it anywhere you want, but without further ado, let me just copy the command again and paste it here. Now you can see it's doing its stuff. So let it do its stuff for a while. I don't need to set up anything. This is actually not a Git lesson. Of course, like I made a video on GitHub account as well. Maybe perhaps you can watch it some other time. But this is a video on using the things to get our main thing ready, which is Odoo. We'll be using all these things to get the setup ready. Okay, so this moment in the video, I'll have to fast forward it a little. Okay, that was quite a huge setup because it's about like 4 GB, so make sure you also have a stable internet connection going on. Now it is actually unpacking. Okay, now you may ask that where is the folder, but actually it's on my desktop, it's on my second monitor. If I have to drop it from here to... Unfortunately, I can't show you my second monitor because all the recording is happening over there and the main screen is in the process. But anyways, this is the Odoo folder. When I cloned this thing from GitHub, it downloaded it from the website. What it did was like it come to this website and it basically copy all this repository, this one, not exactly the same thing, but it copy the master repository from there and then it uh, put it on my PC. Now the second thing is to run the code. So now I have to show you one other thing. Okay, the enterprise Git repository does not contain the full Odoo source code. It only contains of extra add-ons. So like it's just talking about the enterprise edition. We are not going to we'll not be focusing on that one. We'll be sticking with the community one. So now it's time to prepare the Python for it, where we can actually execute the code. Now it's not too simple, but let me do things one by one. It is asking you to download the Python from this link. So if you open this link, it will bring you to this page. And then here you can click downloads, but I have a trick for it. I won't recommend going for this Python. There's a specific reason for it, why, but I want you to do something else. Come to Google and type Anaconda distribution and then click on the first website. Here you can get started and download the setup. Okay, it's asking me to sign in. I'll go with my Google account. Alright, here for the Windows, I can install the Windows 64-bit graphic installer. But since I've already installed it, it looks something like this. The setup is also straightforward. You don't need to do anything. Just click on it. It will install. It will download first, and then it will install. It's not too complicated, just like the Git would. But upon doing this thing, search Anaconda Navigator. There's a one specific reason I'm doing this for. Wait, it's actually showing on my second monitor. So you will actually see like a ring thing, and it will run. When you open it for the first time, it will just like load that way. But once the app is fully loaded, I will move it to my main window to show you like how does it look. Okay, it's done. Okay, it looks something like this. Now here you don't have to play with a lot of things. What is important? Okay, I think I forgot to mention one thing. When you install an Anaconda, usually if you go with the default settings, it's going to be in program file 86, I suppose. Okay, let me just check. If you can't find it where it is located, there's a simple solution. Just search Anaconda and click on open file location. Now it has opened a shortcut, but if you click on open file location again, it will show you. So okay, it is in OS It's in program data, which I think is hidden. So let me see the hidden items. Program data. Here you see Anaconda 3. It is installed here. So click on it. Now this is an important step. You should copy it and type and search environmental variables. Here you will click on environmental variables and double click on path. Do I have it here? So here you can see I have a Python, um, I have an Anaconda 3 and Anaconda 3 scripts there. How you add it? By clicking here and putting it like that. Since I've already done it, I will remove. And the second one is scripts. It's simple, just copy the previous command and type scripts here with a slash or not, like it's up to you, but you should put it like this here. And the reason why I also have a Python, because I have a Python 10 set up for something else, but in this case we'll be focusing on Anaconda. Make sure it is on the top, if not on the very top, but it should be on the top of other. Let's say if you have anything Python, any Python beneath, it should be on the top. And you can do the same thing here in the system variable path as well. So here I haven't put it, or I think I have put it, but it's above the Python 3.10. So it should be there. The thing is, if you don't have any Python there, it's good. If you have an account installed, then this is what you have to do. You have to copy the path from here and then put it in environmental variables in the path section. Now, because if you don't do that thing, let me show you what happens. So if I type Python, you can see something is happening here. If I don't have that thing, I have to remove all these Pythons. I'm just doing this thing to show you what happens if you don't have it. And open the terminal again. And if I type Python, it will open Microsoft Store. So it's loading. You see, it's actually showed it on my second monitor, but it has opened Microsoft Store for me. We don't want that. We want the same CLI command which we have seen before. So I'm gonna do this thing again. Environmental variables. And here in the path, I will type Anaconda and I will move it up. And I will also type Anaconda scripts, because its scripts is actually a folder there. So it's good to, like, if they are side by side. And I will do the same thing from the path again. Move it up a little bit. And then also for the scripts. It doesn't matter if you move it or not, as long as there's no other Python. In the previous example, the Python 3.10 or the other Python was also there. So in order for not having a conflict between which one, I have to put the Anaconda first. So if I type Python in CMD, it should open the Anaconda Python, not the other one. We are not focusing on that thing. I'm actually going to focus on the Anaconda one as well to keep things simple. Now, okay, this is actually the same terminal I opened for the Git. I can safely remove it. Now let me open a new terminal again and just type Python. You see, this is important. If it is show you Anaconda INC, that means like it is running Anaconda Python. Okay, now once that is done, let me show you, or let me tell you why I encourage you to use Python, Anaconda Python instead of a normal one. Now if you open the Anaconda again, the only thing you should focus on is this environment tab. Here you can see a lot of them. You don't have to focus on too much, because actually this is something I use for my own project. The base root is something that you will also have. You may not have all these, of course, because these are the environments I created for my own thing. But in your case, the base root is also going to be there. Now, one more thing. You can click on tab here, create tab here, and here you can name. So what you're doing is you are making a Python environment. That means like whatever happened in base root is actually an environment for base root. Like all your Python packages are for that. In my other one, like dash GPU, EGS. Like I have separate modules for that specific project there. In this case, I want a separate module for, or I would say like a separate environment for my Odoo. So in that way, like let's say if I'm installing any kind of repository or like any kind of like packages, it should not interfere with all the other modules. So I have a separate space for it. So I'm gonna name it something like pi underscore Odoo. Now this is very important, the version. Why I'm encouraging it? You might go for the latest version, but you shouldn't actually, because let me show you one thing. If I open the Odoo folder and open the requirements file, let me open it with Notepad++, so it's more aesthetic. So you can see that Python version 3 greater than or equal to 3.12 and less than or equal to 3.13. So this is actually environment. We don't have to install the packages one by one. I'll show you how later where it will automatically do everything for you. But this is important. It is important to know that which version of Python you're using, because sometimes when I was troubleshooting it on my other PC, I find out that the 3.14 version and 3.13 version were not stable. So I have to downgrade. I have to downgrade to 3.12. Sometimes the latest version is not the best. You have to use the packages accordingly. So anyways, let me come back to the Anaconda, create an environment. I'm gonna call it pi Odoo. And instead of choosing 3.13, I'm gonna go with 3.12. The subversion does not matter. I'm just gonna go with 3.12. So you can see pi Odoo here. Okay, since it is doing its own thing. Okay, it is done. 20 packages available. If I click on the root, it may show you like more number of packages. It doesn't matter. Right now, what we want is a fresh start for our Odoo. See 577 packages. So let's say if I install or uninstall anything, it can like interfere with the other module as well. It's actually a good practice to have a separate environment for the thing you're doing. So my Odoo is having 20 packages. So here, if I open terminal, and use this command, python hyphen version. You see it's showing 3.13.9, whereas I have chosen 3.12 for it. Now, why is that? It is because right now you see this base. If you're using PowerShell or like maybe if you're using CMD, it might not show you that. But actually, there is a command for it. You can use no matter if you're using a CMD. Okay, let me show you what happens if you use CMD. So if you use CMD and use the same command, it will show you the same thing, 3.13.9, but it is not showing you this base thing over here. Why is that? It doesn't matter. What you can do is type conda space activate, and then you can type pi Odoo. Now you see it is showing pi Odoo. Now if I use the same command again, it's showing the 3.12.13, the version I installed, and I can do the same thing here as well. It doesn't matter like if it is showing or not. Python activate pi Odoo, the name of my environment. Now you see like even though the base wasn't there before, but now it is there. So that means like I am using the pi Odoo version. So here if I type Python version, it's going to show me the same thing. So it matters not. So our Python business is done. Now, okay, let's move it here. Okay, this is the folder which have all this stuff, the GitHub thing which I downloaded. Now if I scroll down, okay, so right now it just only wants us to install Python. Later on, we'll be installing, we'll be running it using Python, but that will come second after we are done. So before I come to this dependencies, you have to install one more software, or I would say like two more software, but here this one is also important. PostgreSQL. So if you are from IT background, you know about database, like where you might have studied about databases. So basically you have PostgreSQL, you have MySQL. So PostgreSQL is actually an open source free, I would call like a database management. So you can manage data set the database. So in actually Odoo, you're also doing the same thing. You're playing with a data set. So what we will do, we will just click on the PostgreSQL and come here. We don't need to do anything fancy right now. We will just click on the link and download the installer. Okay. Now here, if you're using Windows, of course, then you have to uh, go with the latest one. I'm telling you to go with the latest one because I would say like it's better suited. So just click on download. It will install the automatic installer. Okay, let me just save it. And okay, it's gonna take some time because of my slow internet. I have to fast forward again. Okay, it's done. Now let me just open it and install. It is installing some of the dependencies before the actual setup. The good thing about me trying this on this system is that everything is kind of fresh, like somewhat fresh. So some of the things I'm also doing for the first time. So I'm assuming like when you will be doing that thing, you will also be doing that thing for the first time. So it is going to help you with that. I'm gonna keep the things default, playing with nothing. Okay, this is important. You have to use a super user password for the Postgres. Usually the one we select is actually root. So I will just use the four letters. You can't see it, but it's R-O-O-T, root, like this. R-O-O-T, root. I'm going with the password root. We usually actually go with the root one. So R-O-O-T, root. And I'm going to keep things default. Okay, this is important. Instead of using the default one for the database cluster, sometimes you have the UTF-8 characters, so it's actually good practice to go for C. Like you can see this option, like only one letter C. Choose the C one and go with the next and just install. So this is installing. I'm going to fast forward a little more. Okay, so upon completing the installation, it is also asking me to install the stack builder. I can just check mark it and finish. It has finished one setup and it brought the other one. Just select the when it show me the stack builder, just go with the default setting. Okay, by default I mean the Postgres 18, like the version which we downloaded from the website. Now it is okay. Here you have to select at least one option. If I click on next, it is saying you must select at least one option. So just select the PG agent. We don't need a lot of tools actually, and I'm gonna keep the things default. I mean the location default. So it is downloading. All right. Now instead of skip installation, I will just click with next. Now it has opened the EDB PG agent. I'm gonna click next. Leave the update. I don't need the update mode. So I'm not gonna play with a lot of settings, but here I need to set up a password. Okay, actually it works for the root. So I tried to use the same password as the super user root, and it worked. Now here it's asking for the system user password, the one password you have for your device, like the pin you have. So I'm going to use the pin. Okay, now it's installing. So we are done. Okay, our setup is done. Now what it is trying to do, by default the only user is Postgres as Odoo. Okay, I'm going to talk about that thing. What does it mean? But first, look at all these commands. We need to do something first. C program file Postgres SQL and then version/bin. What it means is if I come back to my C drive and come to program files, here Postgres SQL, the 18, the version which we have installed is 18. So in this folder, it's showing bin. We need to put it into path. By path, what does it mean? The same thing which I showed you before, environment variables and path here. So the common thing is to just click here, copy, new, paste it. It does not need to be above or below anything, just put it there. It has to be there. And put this one as well. Okay. Now we can open PG admin. So if I just type PG, I can see PG admin 4. It doesn't matter, it's just showing PG admin, but PG admin 4 usually. So when it open, okay, it's gonna look something like that. Now here we have servers, Postgres 18. Now you have to use the same password which you have used for your Postgres, not your key, like the system key, but which was the 4 letters root, ROOT. Okay, you see like you have, if you click on the, can I make it bigger? So you see like you have the login group roles, you have Postgres as, Postgres only, and then you also have the databases as well. We're gonna talk about the database later, but what it is trying to do, what it's trying to say is by default you only have Postgres, which is this one. You don't have Odoo. So what we will do is we will try to make a new user. So double click on the server. Okay, we already done that. Now we have to click here, login and group. Click the right click, login and group role. We are going to create a new one. Here in the name, let's go what it is recommending us. Just type Odoo. Okay, so for the name, we are going for the Odoo. Come to the definition tab. It is asking for Odoo password. Here, I will type the Odoo again. Of course, it's not going to reveal. But instead of Odoo, I'm going to call it Odoo 123. So instead of just simple Odoo, I'm also using Odoo 123 as well. I'm not going to play with other settings, but I have to come to privileges and I have to check mark the can login and can create database. So I have to make them check and then I can save it. Now you can see Odoo is also there as well. So that means we are done with that part. So now the next thing is, if I open the folder again, the one on my desktop for my Odoo, now it's time to render dependencies. So instead of opening terminal, I can show you one more trick. Just click on the search or like the URL or of the folder, just type cmd. It will open the cmd, but it will also come to, if I open the cmd right away like this, it just opens in a default place. But of course I can also navigate it like this because I know the commands. So you see it's the same thing. But if you don't want to cause yourself some pain, you want to open it, it is important to open it in the same location as you have the folder, like inside the folder, which is Odoo. If I type dir, you see it's going to show me all these folders here, like everything, setup.cfg, blah blah blah, like all those things are there. That is not important. What is important, okay, cls is actually a command used for clearing the screen, are these two commands. But before you actually do that, I told you to install PyOdoo, not because if you just run the command right away, it may interfere with your base conda setup, like where I was having 577 packages. I don't want to do that. I made a fresh setup for my Odoo, so it's time to use it. So I will use the command. You can actually copy this command or like write it down somewhere. I know them, so I don't need to write them down. But if you're new to this, you can write them down. Conda activate py underscore Odoo. That's the name I gave it for my environment. So now you see like it is activated. Let me copy the first command. Okay, the first command is actually this one, cd community path. That means like the path for your location, which I already done. So that's why like I don't need to follow with that one. I'm already in the path. I'm already in the directory. So I will copy the first or the second command and type enter. It is showing requirement already satisfied. That means like when I install those 20 packages, this is a package that already come with. But this is important. Instead of installing packages one by one, this thing came with, okay, it's opening. This repository came with all these packages, Babel. Okay, the reason why there are two is because this one is greater than or equal to 3.11 and less than 3.13, like somewhere in between 3.12. And then this one is like, let's say if you have a Python version of 3.13. I'm not going to go into too much details. What I'm trying to say is like all these commands, or sorry, all these packages you need to install. And we are not going to do one by one. We already have the file with us, so we will just copy this command and paste it and let Python do its own trick now. So again, my internet is slow, so I have to fast forward if it is taking too much time. Okay, so I'm greeted with successfully installed like all these packages, whatever the packages they wanted. It's already installed there. So if you got any error, feel free to reach out so I can help you. But in my case, like since I'm following all the instructions one by one, it didn't give me any error. And you have to use 3.12 again. If you're using 3.13, it might give you an error, just like me. I can't show you because I have experienced it before. Okay, so let me show you one more interesting thing before I can actually start running the code. Let me open the Anaconda again so I can show you what changed. So when I installed the Anaconda and when I created the environment for the first time, I was having 20 packages. But let me show you something interesting now. Okay, so this is my Anaconda environments. Now if I click on Odoo, it's loading its packages. You see, instead of 20, it has 81 packages now. So that means like it has installed, I think almost 61 packages, not one by one, but like because we were having the requirements file. This is not a Python lesson like how things work, but I mean, since we were having the file and I just executed the command, I have the right modules available because if I don't have them, it will not run. Now the very final thing for the Odoo page to display, because actually we'll be using the browser to run it. It is not going to be a setup or anything. It's going to be run on our browser. We also need the Node.js as well. So just click on this thing, Node.js, and Windows, download the installer. Okay, that's done. Again, I will just go with the default settings. Okay. Finally, after this, we can run it. Okay. The next thing I want is this install RTS, RTL CSS. Okay. If I type npm, it is not recognized right now. So let me open the command prompt again. Now if I type npm, I just have to refresh the terminal again. That's why it started to show. And now I will just copy this command, paste it. It's doing its thing. All right. Now it is showing in this path C users, then user appleter roaming. Okay, so let me show you where it is located. Let me open the, not in tab, but in new window. Okay. Now here it's saying users, and then in my case it's Arvin, and app data, roaming, npm, and then here we have the RTL CSS. So just copy the file location and go to environment variables again. Here in path. Okay, it was already there. I put it before. So path. Okay, I think it's here or not. I'll just put it there. And okay, now it's the time for moment of truth to come to this path and run this command. Now before I do that thing, I want to do one last thing. I don't have to install anything, by the way. You see in the databases I have only Postgres. Here you see, if you look at this command where community path is the path, of course, and is the path of your Odoo community installer, db user is the Postgres login. In our case it's Odoo, the user we made, and db password is the password, which one. It's actually basically talking about this thing, Odoo, and in our case it's Odoo123. It's also suggesting the last thing, MyDB is the database name of the Postgres database. In this case, like you see, we don't have it here. Now, of course, it can make it for us, but in order for not causing some hassle, let me just create one here. So by right-clicking it, database, and here I will just type the same thing that is over there, MyDB. And for the owner, I will just select Odoo. That's all, and I will save it. Here it has created, you see, a new database for us, MyDB. Now, if I come back and type cmd, I can copy the command, but instead of db user, I will type Odoo, and db password, it's going to be Odoo123. Oh, why this didn't work out? The very example I told you, that of course I use Python, but you see, like it's saying no module found. It means that I'm not running the environment. So that's why I told you, okay, if I had it installed in base, it should have worked, but then it could have like its own problems. I have to do this thing first. Odoo. Let me clean the screen and let me run this again. So it's going to take its time. Okay, it has given me one error that import base CB did not initialize. You can force it with the/i base. So I will do this thing, -i base. Now let me run it again. It's actually just going to create or like load all of the things which it have. I mean, it's too many, like some of them which I don't even know, but it's actually doing its own job right now. I think I can open it side by side. It do its own thing, and I can click on local, like this one. If I click on it, you see it has shown us the page. What happens if I don't have it? Okay, I will show you that later. But here we don't have to use our email ID or password. If you look at the source, it's just suggesting us go with the admin as email and admin as password. So just type admin and login. Okay, no thanks. You see it has finally loaded for us. And of course this thing is still happening, running in the background. Before it happens, I can activate one module to show you what happens behind the scenes. So if I can activate it, it's going to install that module over there. So I'm going to let it do its own thing. Okay, now it's reloading by itself. Here, has changed a little, but I click on apps. You see, it's not showing me activate anymore. And we don't have to go with the upgrade. Upgrade basically, is for the enterprise or like the paid version, but we'll be playing with like each of them individually. So let me also activate the e-commerce as well. It's gonna do its own thing. So I'm gonna make another video for how to use Odoo. This is actually about the installation process. Later on, I'm gonna make a video on how to use it, or maybe I can teach you in the lab. So this is how you make it running. So let me show you what happens if you don't have this black window, you know, doing its thing for you. Okay. Skip instruction. I don't have to follow these. Okay, it's actually just showing me some hints. Okay. So basically it's our website, but we need to come to our apps again. And here we have the things going on for us. So you see we have e-commerce, we have sales, we have the software running for us. But so in order to terminate this thing, it's actually a good practice. Like you have to come to the black screen. You have to keep it running, by the way. You can't just close it. It has to be running in the background. Just hold Control and C. By Control C, it means connection lost. So if I now reload it, you see like it's not going to show me anything. It's just like a blank window. So let me show you. Okay, I'm coming back here again. Let me clear the screen. It's not running anymore. If I come to this website or like the local host 8060, you see it's not running anymore. But the moment when I run the command again, and it's show me like all this thing, like when it start kicking in, you see the website start working. Okay, because of the layout. So let me come to apps. So here we have it running. So that was all. I hope you have learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, ask me in the lab, ask me in DMs, or like you can even point it out in, beneath this video. Just make sure you have it running for your upcoming lessons.